Welcome to the Keep God Simple channel. I'm in this right now. I always put that down. And I want to say I got this, so make sure, y'all are wearing something as a reminder of, to let everybody know that you are God's. So today is a change in circumstances. We're going to be reading Genesis 41:14 through 41.
And him. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. He shaved himself, changed his clothing, and came in to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. So Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, in my dream I stood on the bank of the river. Suddenly 7 cows came up out of the river, looking fat and sleek. They fed in the marsh grass, and behold, 7 other cattle came up after them, poor and very ugly and thin, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for ugliness. The thin and ugly cattle ate up the first 7 fat cattle, and when they had eaten them up, it couldn't be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ugly as at the beginning. So I awoke. I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 heads of grain came up on one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 heads of grain, withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads of grain. I told it to the magicians, but there was no one who could explain it to me. Joseph said to Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. What God is about to do, he has declared to Pharaoh. The 7 good cattle are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. The dream is one. The 7 thin and ugly cattle that came up after them are 7 years, and also the 7 empty heads of grain blasted with the east wind. They will be 7 years of famine. That is the thing which I spoke to Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he has shown to Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. There will arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will consume the land, and the plenty will not be known in the land by reason of that famine, which follows, for it will be very grievous. The dream was doubled to Pharaoh because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look for a discreet and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint overseers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt's produce in the 7 plenteous years. Let them gather all the food of these good years that come, and lay up grain under the hand of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. The food will be for a store to the land against the 7 years of famine which will be in the land of Egypt, that the land not perish through the famine. The thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. Pharaoh said to his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom is the Spirit of God? Pharaoh said to Joseph, Because God has shown you all of this, there is none so discreet and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and according to your word will all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh took off his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in robes of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck, and he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. They cried before him, Bow the knee. He set him over all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without you shall no man lift up his hand or his foot in all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphanath-Paneah, and he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, as a wife. Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. In the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth abundantly.
Okay, today's key verse. People will forget what it was like to have plenty of food, because the hunger that follows will be so great. You had 2 dreams, which mean the same thing. This shows that God has firmly decided that his will happen and he will make it happen soon. Let's talk about questions to understand. Why do you think God made part of his plan known to the king through Joseph? How did this information change the direction of Joseph's life? Joseph, the former favored son and falsely accused slave, spent some time in prison. That was before the king asked Joseph for help. The king had 2 dreams, and he was uncertain what they meant. No one had listed a personal ad for a dream interpreter. But when Joseph helped a man with dream interpretation, the king eventually found out, and Joseph was brought out from prison. He gave God the credit and then listened to the dream. He told the king a famine was coming and he should get prepared. The king trusted Joseph's interpretation because the king was still a bit uncertain. He hired a prisoner to be his second in command. Wisdom adds perspective to uncertainty. That wisdom comes from God's word. The truth of God's word dislodges uncertainty. Let's go into prayer. You can do anything at any time for anyone. The circumstances I face today may not be the plot or setting for my future. When I live in uncertain times, help me remember the times you changed the future of a prisoner in Egypt who followed you. I will live in uncertain times with the certainty that I am not forgotten or abandoned by you, Lord. The love you have for me will lead me to you every time. Yes, we hope and pray this, Father, that this is deep, deep again within our heart. Thank you.